Good morning to you on this Tuesday, October 15th. Good to have you for another Morning Barbados show. We have a good show planned for you today as we look forward to the observance of World Food Day. We have a few people coming in to tell us more about a panel discussion that is coming up. We're also going to share with you about a primary schools quiz that is coming your way, so you get all the details on how you can enter and things of that nature. My name is Tisha Hines. I'll be here until 8 o'clock this morning, and we hope that you can stick around. But if you can't, remember you can catch us online, on demand. You can go ahead and email us at morningbarbados@cbc.bb to share your questions, comments, or make any suggestions of people you want to see on the show or things you'd like us to explore here on Morning Barbados. Your way to wake up is with Morning Barbados. A special good morning to those of you down the diaspora. That's right. So we have to say a special good morning to a gentleman who joins us every Tuesday morning as long as he's available. This, of course, is Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Commichon. Good morning to you. Welcome again.
Morning, Tisha. It's a good way to spend a Tuesday morning.
I agree. Thoroughly. All right. So today we want to take a look at freedom of movement. There has been much movement in that area by way of the Caribbean heads meeting and deciding a way forward. Most countries have signed on to, movement with freedom of movement. So where are we with it at this stage?
Yes, we had hoped to accomplish it, full freedom of movement, that is, by the 31st of March this year. And the heads of government had agreed at the 50th anniversary conference last year that they wanted to achieve this very important symbolic victory during the 50th anniversary year. We haven't quite achieved it yet. There's still some technical things that we're working on. But realistically, if people really think about it, 2 points I want to make. First of all, we used to have full freedom of movement before. When we were all members of the British Empire, before we got our individual independent statuses, we were free to move from Barbados to Trinidad to Jamaica, etc., as members, as colonies of Britain. And then when we established the Federation in 1958, we were, in a sense, one nation, although a colonial nation. We had freedom of movement. The Federation collapsed in 1962. And what we have been trying to do ever since the collapse of the Federation in 1962, and then we all went into independence singularly, what we've been trying to do is to find our way back to the kind of unity that we had during the Federation period, but doing it gradually, not through a political union, but through trade arrangements like CARIFTA, and then through the various economic arrangements of CARICOM. So right now, what we do have right now is the Skills National Program. And truth be told, Tisha, if you really examine the Skills National Program, there are 12 categories of skills. Virtually everybody could locate themselves under one of those categories of skills. So to a large extent, especially now that the heads of government have clarified all 12 definitions of skills, we have virtual freedom of movement. But what we want is that big symbolic gesture when we all declare, look, we are not afraid of our CARICOM neighbors. They're free to move, and that's what we're still striving to accomplish that.
Let's talk a little bit more about the Skills National Program and how people can benefit from this program.
Yeah, well, from the time we established the CARICOM, we revised the Treaty of Chaguaramas to establish the Caribbean community, including the single market and economy in 2001. In 2001, we all signed on to the single market and economy, except the Bahamas. We have had this Skills National Program. It started with 4 categories of skill, very, very modest, university graduates, media personnel, I think sports persons, and maybe artisans. But over the years, it has been expanded. So we are now at 12 categories. And the latest categories have been domestic workers, agricultural workers, and private security officers. And the heads of government, because the technical people were finding it so difficult to establish a proper definition of domestic workers, the heads of government took it in their hands, and the definition of domestic workers now is very expansive, Tisha. Basically, it is a person who works as a maid, cleaning and taking care of a private residential home, or who is a caregiver for elderly persons within a home situation, or persons with disabilities within a home situation, or a person who looks after children within a private home situation. So you can see that is a very broad definition, and people can easily qualify under that if they've had some experience of doing those kinds of functions, and they can present some testimonials testifying, yes, this person has experience performing these functions. Then there's agricultural workers, people engaged in farming, people engaged in livestock rearing. Again, very broad, and once again, they don't need special qualifications. Yes, if you have special qualifications, that will qualify you, but if you have practical experience and you can certify that you have practical experience, you can qualify. So, so the point is, it is very wide-ranging now. I mean, artisans, nurses, teachers, the two biggest categories by far that tend to be utilized are university graduates and associate degree holders. In fact, I came armed with some statistics to give you an idea. So these are statistics pertaining to Barbados. These are statistics between the year 2010 and 2023, last year, a period of 14 years. And this will give you some idea. So the CARICOM nationals that kind of came into Barbados over that 14-year period with their CARICOM skills certificates and got their certificates verified in Barbados, obviously to live and work in Barbados. There was a total of 1,288 CARICOM nationals who verified skill certificates in Barbados. And of that 1,288, 897 were university graduates and 146 were associate degree holders. So on average, about 92 persons per year, vastly dominated by graduates and associate degree holders. And the other statistic would be the persons who acquired CARICOM skill certificates in Barbados. So this would be largely, a majority would be Barbadians, but also there's some CARICOM nationals who actually get their skill certificate in Barbados. So, you can get your skills certificate in any CARICOM country. So over that 14-year period, there were 3,181 skills certificates issued by our Barbados Accreditation Council right here in Barbados. And again, of those, 1,890 were university graduates, 60%, and 471 were associate degree holders. That is, people with associate degrees from a community college or two Cape certificates. So again, an average of 227 persons per year, and the number of persons granted reside and work in Barbados during that said period. So that's a combination of skills certificates, people who come under the rights of establishment, they come to set up a business, or even illegals who have had their stay regularized by the Immigration Department. 3,793. That works out to 271 persons per year.
On average.
So, pretty modest. So although we've had this Skills National program for several years now, the number of persons actually traveling, who coming into Barbados under it is relatively a modest number. And we need to think of these statistics, Tisha, against the background of Barbados's population needs, because that's the other part of the picture that we need to talk about. Even though Barbados is the most densely populated island nation in CARICOM, we still have a serious population deficit, in that we are now experiencing a situation where we are not reproducing our population through live births, and we have a declining population growth, and we are finding now that our population has moved in the direction of an increasing number of persons in the senior citizen category, and less persons entering the active young working category. So if we don't correct this, we are going to find ourselves where we have an untenable situation, where we don't have enough younger people working and paying national insurance and paying taxes to help maintain the growing number of retirees, elderly persons who we need to support.
I think we need to get Barbadians outside of university graduates into the frame of mind that it goes both ways. Mm-hmm. A lot of the times when we think about or talk about freedom of movement, particularly on the call-in programs where you listen in, a lot of people talk about people moving into Barbados, but they don't consider that the same opportunities are available for Barbadians to be able to get their skills certificates and consider work throughout the region as well for the countries that have signed on to it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, this is really the whole idea of the freedom of movement idea within CARICOM. It is that we are striving to build one regional economy, one single domestic space, where if there are opportunities in any part of the region, that people can move and explore those opportunities. If there are needs, so a country might have a need for skilled workers in a particular area, that people can come in. So yes, you would want to encourage Barbadians. I mean, Barbados is the CARICOM country that has probably done most to develop its human resource capacity. I mean, we have invested heavily in education and vocational training, training in the arts, etc. So Barbadians are probably better equipped to make use of the Skilled Nationals program than people from any other CARICOM country. And yes, and we perhaps need to promote it more, and go out there, find opportunities for yourselves. But I want to say to Barbadians that we really should not fear freedom of movement within CARICOM, because as I started, if we think about it, this is not something new. It is something that our parents and our grandparents, they had as British colonies, and so we are simply trying to get back to that. But as the figures themselves will show you, people coming in, CARICOM nationals coming into Barbados to live and work in Barbados, are not a detriment to Barbados. It's really a benefit to Barbados, because we do have this overarching population program. Back in the 1950s and early 1960s, there used to be over 7,000 live births in Barbados, Tisha. By 2017, we were down to 2,500. The last year that we, through live births, reproduced our population in Barbados was 1980. So from 1980, if we had no inward migration from 1980, our population would have been on a downward trend. It is only since 1980, it is only people coming in that has caused our population to increase slightly. And if we had maintained reproducing our population. If from 1980 we had continued to reproduce our population just barely by natural means, by now the Barbados population would have been in excess of 360,000 persons. Instead, it is at 280,000. So whatever little benefit we can get from the CARICOM Skills Nationals program, or even full freedom of movement, whatever benefit we can get from people coming in, adding to our workforce, we should be thankful for that, because it is really helping us to solve an overarching problem. But of course, that alone is not going to solve the population problem. I think government has said that they're going to come with a comprehensive does help a little bit.
Absolutely. What about people who have questions about cultural differences? What would you say to them to quell their fears? Not only cultural differences, but often we have many things that are similar, but there's much discussion a lot of the times about the differences of other Caribbean nationals and the movement. And also, is there continual or concerted effort to get the other nations that have not signed on to become signatory to the free movement?
Mm-hmm. Well, in terms of cultural, the way I look at it, if it is, and we are going to have to address this population deficit, if we have to think of people that we would wish to come into Barbados to strengthen our population, I think first of all we would think of members of the Barbadian diaspora. That's the first thing, the children and the grandchildren of Barbadians abroad, to entice them to, Caribbean or CARICOM brothers and sisters, because they share so much in common with us culturally. So to my way of thinking, if we are going to encourage people to come and live and work and help strengthen our population here in Barbados, we want to focus on our Caribbean brothers and sisters, because we have so much in common. And yes, you're quite right. I mean, it is a benefit to a country to have at its core a solid national and cultural identity. That is a source of strength. So I would say that CARICOM nationals, we don't have to fear that. We share so much in common that they will help to solidify that Barbadian nationality. In fact, George Lamming used to say, I can best appreciate my Barbadian cultural identity. In terms of moving now from the Skills National to the full freedom of movement, this is where we no longer depend on, you don't have to prove that you have a particular skill. We just say, look, once you are a CARICOM citizen, we all have the right to move across CARICOM, to live and work without the need for work permits, etc. So that's what we're trying to move to. And that's what we were hoping to achieve by March of this year. We're still working on it because there are some technical problems. Haiti is not participating in that full freedom of movement, and for obvious reasons, all of the instability in Haiti, the fact that it just really has a failed economy at this point, a lot of desperate people. So that would prove problem. They think they would not wish to come in at this point. But and of course the Bahamas have never been part of this single market and economy, so they're out. But all the others have indicated that they will be participating. And but the little sticking points now are, we need to get agreement on persons moving. Will it be obligatory that they must move under a CARICOM passport? Some countries are saying no. We need to get away from insisting that people have to only move under passport. Then there are some little technical difficulties in terms of, okay, if you move, we are saying that you and your dependents must have access to primary and secondary education on the same terms as citizens of the country that you move to. You must have to. And there's some little difficulties in agreeing on the definition of primary health care, agreeing on the definition of emergency health care. Then there's a question of economic migrants. You know, some of our CARICOM countries have this citizenship by investment, where you can actually buy citizenship. So the question is still up for determination. Will free movement apply to economic citizens? Some countries are saying no, we're not willing to accept that. And then there's the issue of pertaining to Guyana in particular. Guyana has its new petroleum industry. It has passed legislation reserving a lot of this petroleum business to Guyanese. So the question is, how will that fit with the free movement regime? So I was the chairman of a task force, the revisions to the treaty to put it in place. So we did that work, but then these little technical difficulties came up, and right now the heads of government are charged with discussing and working through those little technical difficulties. So hopefully the next CARICOM Heads of Government Conference will be in Barbados in February of next year. And it is my hope that by then we will be able to confirm at that Barbados conference that the little technical difficulties that have stopped us from fully realizing the full free movement regime, that we will be able to announce at that conference that we have solved all of those and the regime is in effect.
All right, excellent. So definitely some more information on what you can do if you're interested. All of a sudden, you know, your job prospect on what's happening across the region and here in Barbados.
My pleasure, teacher.
All right, time for a break here in Morning Barbados. We have lots more coming up. Do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you and yours. Welcome back to Morning Barbados. Travel safely today, leave early. A special good morning to all of the little ones heading off to school, particularly the students of primary age. Good morning to you. So joining us now, we have Nicole Daniel, who is proud what the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs is doing in honor of this International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. It's a pretty interesting initiative that she's here to share with us. So good morning to you, Nicole.
Hi, good morning, Tisha. How are you? Good morning, Barbados.
Good to have you here with us
Thank you.
today. Before we jump into what will be happening with this program, tell me a little bit about the importance of having a program like this one, the One Family program, as a part of the ministry.
Well, the One Family program is a poverty reduction program, and we are really seeking to empower the lives of 1,000 of the most vulnerable families across Barbados. So we are doing it in little increments. We are trying to help families basically to help themselves. So we want them to become a little bit more self-sufficient and be enabled, and at the end feel empowered to do much more with what they have in their lives.
To be able to change their circumstances?
Well, what we would have done in order to reach those 1,000 families, we would have received recommendations or referrals from other social service agencies, schools, faith-based organizations, and we would have gone about doing an eligibility score sheet in order to find out the ranking of persons in their level of poverty. Once we would have found out that level, we would have been able to select those ones who are at the lower end of the poverty scale, and that's from extreme poverty. And what we do is a holistic intervention where we try to look at it, as a full picture. Poverty is not just, I don't have any income, that's it. It ranges in different other dimensions such as health, housing, education, family dynamics, social income. So there's a variety of rooted issues and concerns in order to help families to help themselves.
Now, based on the information that you've gathered, as you mentioned, from other agencies working in this area and engagement generally, would you say that the face of, or how people generally feel about who's impoverished has changed throughout the years?
Yes, I would say that. I find that, sometimes we can look at someone and say, well, hey, this person is living in poverty. It has changed so much over time. I think we've become a little bit proud as well as Barbadians. And just because we are poor doesn't mean we actually have to look like we're poor.
Absolutely. So now here we are looking at the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. And this program goes to the very heart of what this day, this observance, is all about.
Yes. So what we would have tried to celebrate is the effort always be with us. But we try in our efforts to ensure that persons are stabilized, that they have some level of transformation that can occur within themselves by providing training opportunities and helping them with new skills, maybe the level of entrepreneurship, trying to go that route so that they will be able to, as I said, be a little bit more self-sufficient and be able to help themselves at the end of the day, thereby not being so indebted to the government by depending on the state.
What are some of the ways that people who are having these challenges need assistance? The most popular ways that we can help them?
Well, definitely, as we do the drive now, we definitely know some of the basic needs, and the basic needs of food. So what we would try to assist, we try to stabilize families as best as we can by identifying the needs. And what it is that they want. So we want to improve their educational skills. They have needs in terms of housing. Housing is definitely a critical area where we try to help. And then we have levels of persons who we know within our demographic are persons who would have NCDs. And we try to assist them and promote better health practices in order for them to have better life.
All right, that's interesting. And you touched on, a very important thing, which is pride.
Yes.
Barbadians have a lot of pride. Has it been difficult or easy to be able to reach out to the most vulnerable among us? Because, some of the times is, the pride stops people from really asking for help or reaching out where there's assistance available.
Well, I believe that although we do have pride, we would be sensitive to their nature. We would not, blast it out there. We would try to make them as comfortable as possible and try to go on through the program and have been successful. We use those persons as champions so that they can instill the practices that they would have gone through in terms of the program and the benefits that they would have gained to help them to see, well, hey, this person went through this program, this is what they got, and they can, see the end and that light at the end of the tunnel to see that, yes, I can do it as well. So although, yes, some may have pride, they still make sure that they can get the best for themselves and then the best for their children as well.
What place does community involvement and community engagement hold in making this entire program a success?
Yes, because, and as the program says, is one family. So we see ourselves, working together as one family within the communities. Our 1,000 families, they're coming from all over Barbados, from St. Lucy's to Christchurch, so they're all over. So what we try to do is we go to the person, we reach them where they are at. And we need the help of the community, organizations, individuals, families, community at large to just come and pitch in and help one another to achieve, that better, life that everybody is so willing to get to that goal.
I would imagine that you're moving forward almost like, a bus system. So you don't want people to get on the bus and stay on the bus because nobody else can get on.
Correct.
So what is the process like for getting into the program and then being able to kind of maybe wean people off of the program?
Okay, so the program is for 2 years, technically. So once we have done the eligibility score sheet and the persons have been selected, they go through this 2-year program. We have a model called the ICY Bridge model, and the bridge really tells you that you're going to get from one end to another. So in this model, we identify persons, and that's the I. And then we have the stabilization, where we find out the needs of persons and be able to help them, help themselves. Education helps persons get themselves out of poverty. We have a lot of persons in the program who have challenges as it relates to remedial. So what we do is we try to assist those persons, and that's where the pride comes in, because they don't tell you that they have the challenge as it relates to remedial, but you find that as they fill out forms, they have challenges. And what we do is that we would pull them aside and we would, speak with them, and we offer them the opportunity to be able to be in a position to be at least functionally literate. And then we have the empowerment aspect of it, because we want at the end of the program, at the end of the 2 years, we have persons who are going to be able to feel empowered, feel like their life has changed, and thereby be able then to give back then to society and Barbados as a whole.
Are we also working to collect data? So that we're able to move past maybe what we're doing now and do it even more efficiently in future?
Yes, we are. And right now, the industry is going through the country assessment of living conditions. And this is a survey that is being done to see what the data is telling us in terms of us trying to help persons who are most vulnerable in society. So through that survey, that data will help to inform better programs, better policies throughout the ministry.
And now you're encouraging the entire community to come out and be a part on this International Day for the Eradication of Poverty, which comes upon Thursday, October 17th, through a drive-through donation opportunity.
Correct.
Tell us more.
So on Thursday, which is the International Day of the Eradication of Poverty, we're asking all persons, businesses, individuals, anyone, whether their donation is big or it is small, to come to the Warren's office complex. So we call it the Barat building. And we are asking persons from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Asking persons to just simply drive through to bring a bag of donations. As I said, it could be a tin of something, it could be a bag of Pampers, anything. So anything, we're going to accept non-perishable items, food items, we're toiletries, as I said, Pampers, and just drive up. We take your package and you go, and we then distribute these items then to the persons within the program.
All right, so you're running from 7 in the morning, so you have the entire day to really get together. And, you know, based on what you have seen, are there any particular items that you know, are in higher demand than others?
Well, definitely, we know for sure the toiletries. We have persons, probably Pampers. We have a lot of babies, and Pampers would do us good. We always have someone come in to say, well, hey, can we get some Pampers? The tin items, obviously, and then the basic essentials, the rice, those types of things. But we will not, you know, turn away anyone. Anything that persons bring, we are willing to accept.
Nicole, is there any way for people to be able to donate services? I heard you talk about the fact that there's need for a lot of remedial learning among the people whom you serve, in that I'd like to assist.
Yes, there are. So what we can do is that you can, if you are interested, we have services including the same mentorship, coaching, the areas as I mentioned in the pillars. We have education, anything health related. So if you're a retired nurse and you want to give back in terms of health, we have persons in housing. If we have constructors, persons, you know, with the basic skills in terms of masonry or carpentry, we are asking persons to donate any services. So what they can do is that they can send us an email at one.family@barbados.gov.bb. They can also call us for information at 535-1780 or 535-1706. They can also WhatsApp or call us on the cellular, which is 266 165.
You know, what are we working toward? What would be the ideal day on this international observance? What would be an ideal day for the One Family team?
Well, the ideal day for us would be to have those persons, as I said, come in, give back through donations, give back of their service. So if they need to hear more about the program, we can provide that to them as well. If they don't want to give on that particular day, we also have a bank account that persons can contribute to the bank account. And those funds will help in terms of the services necessary. So on that day, we really just want to see each other helping each other. Being our brother's keeper and trying to see if we can help the most vulnerable in society.
Absolutely, Bajans helping Bajans. I want to thank you so much for sharing with us and giving us more information about the One Family program and, of course, all the work that you're doing across our society. I look forward to hearing more about the program in future and seeing the fruits of our labor. So remember, Thursday 17th is International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. It makes no sense me telling you anything other than it's at the Al Barak building. As you know, we still call these buildings what we know them by. So just drive through. You know, if you're going into the supermarket, pick up an extra bag of groceries if you can afford that. Doesn't have to be an entire bag, but whatever you can contribute based on what Nicole has shared, it can make a difference to someone's life here in Barbados, and particularly Bajans just like ourselves.
Correct.
Again, thank you and
Thank
the
you.
entire team for all the work you do over at the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs.
Yes,
Congratulations on this program as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's Nicole Daniel. So you can give her a call. She called all the numbers and, you know, think about how you can contribute in other ways as well. Time for a break here on Morning Barbados. Coming up, we're going to tell you about World Food Day and how that particular day will be observed here in Barbados. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country?
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados on this Tuesday. Sometimes I have to figure out which day it is. I don't know if that happens to you too, but I'm confident now that it's Tuesday. I almost said Thursday at one point in time. We're looking toward World Food Day, and for me, when I think about World Food Day, it brings back memories of Carmita Fraser. Expose your age, Tisha Hines, go for it. You know, on television, talking about how important it is for us to eat what we grow and things like that. And I'm sure for people of my generation, that is the case as well. So there's a move afoot, most certainly, to bring a new generation into the observance of World Food Day in line with, you know, developmental goals that we're being held to not only here in Barbados, but that are important for the Caribbean and indeed the rest of the world. So as we look toward the observance, we are very pleased to have Nicole Foster joining us this morning. Now, she's an attorney at law. She's also a law lecturer with the Faculty of Law at UWI Cave Hill, and she is founding head of the faculty's Law and Health Research Unit. So good morning, and wonderful to have you here with us today.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Joining us again today, we have Brian Payne, who is Deputy Nutritional Officer with the National Nutritional Center. It's good to have you back with us, Brian.
Hey, good morning. It's good to be here as well.
All right. First of all, let's start at the very beginning before we get into the World Food Day panel discussion that we are going to be talking about. To talk a little bit about World Food Day 2024 and all that it highlights under the theme Right to Food for a Better Future. Yes, along those lines. So why is it important for us, first of all, to observe a day like this?
Well, it gives us an opportunity to just reflect on the role that food plays in our lives. We know we need food to live, but it really asks us to reflect on what are we putting in our bodies. And sometimes, we just consume and don't necessarily reflect on that. So World Food Day gives us that opportunity to just pause and think more deeply and critically about how we engage with food and our relationships with food, but also to the broader connections within the society, the role of agriculture and some of the challenges that it's facing, and the contribution that agencies like the Food and Agriculture Organization play in our societies.
With those broader views in sight, Brian, how important is this observance to the initiatives that you're putting on through the National Nutrition Center?
I think it's critical too. I think when you look at it from a micro perspective, and we appreciate and understand that in Barbados and the wider region, roughly 80% of deaths are attributed to NCDs, and food and physical activity are at the root of these deaths. So it's critical to kind of highlight, again, not only from a Barbadian perspective, from an international perspective, it really gives the sense of how critical good nutrition and physical activity are as it relates to overall health.
Where are we in terms of being able to share this information? Day by day, we're hearing more about an increase with the non-communicable diseases, the incidences, about how significantly they're impacting our community. And this is down the region. Really.
Absolutely.
Barbados is of particular interest, but it's down the Caribbean region as well. So, what do we need to do through observances like this one to be able to get people thinking differently? Particularly because, as you mentioned, food is so important and has things like cultural components in terms of how people feel about it. How can this observance work toward changing mindsets?
Yeah, so one of the reasons that the NCD Commission, which I also sit on, decided to partner with the faculty and put on this panel discussion that we'll speak about was exactly to bring that connection between the health side, as Brian was speaking about, and the food side, and get people to understand that there's that connection. And as you said, there's been a lot of information out there for a while now. We hear the statistics all the time. Almost 8 of every 10 deaths are non-communicable. 1/3 of those are persons under 30, about between 30 and 70, so premature deaths. And what we're trying to do is to move beyond just reciting those figures and getting people to really understand what they can do concretely on the ground, changing how do we work towards changing our food environment in a way that we really make better choices in terms of what we consume.
And of course, to have something like a National Nutrition Center that's constantly, not only in the background, but the foreground, working to be able to reinforce all that's being done is of equal importance.
Yeah, most definitely. I think the Ministry of Health and Wellness has kind of made a shift from placing the responsibility on the individual to having more broad policy-based approach to ensuring that, one, Barbadians actually have access to healthy foods, and two, to make sure that the access to unhealthy foods is also addressed as well.
And usually when we think about things like food on World Food Day and nutrition, we don't necessarily make the linkage with the legal framework that goes along with it. So I would imagine this is a part of where you come in and the part that you play in making sure that they all work in tandem as we work toward the broader framework kind of coming together for the better good.
So yeah, absolutely. So the theme, as you said, for World Food Day this year is right to foods for a better life and a better future. And that emphasis on rights is where the law comes in. And we know at an international level, our governments have made commitments in the context of different international human rights treaties that speak to our right as citizens, as individuals, to have access to adequate and nutritious food, to our right as individuals and citizens to health. And that's health in its broadest sense, not health care, health, to attain the highest possible standard of health, mental and physical. And so the law provides that environment within which now you have something to build on. The government has something to say, well, we need to take these actions because we've made these commitments, or, you know, we are trying to put in place these policies because it helps us meet the obligations that we have at an international level as it relates to children's rights, but also to just every individual's rights.
From a lay perspective, you know, I hear you with the right to health as opposed to the right to health care. Doesn't this kind of take the responsibility from being squarely on the individual to placing some responsibility on the state as well? If you're saying that people's right to health is something that must be reinforced, then it calls all members of society, from the business community to governmental organizations, to question and kind of hold their feet to the fire in terms of what is on offer.
And that is the power of law, right? In this space, it moves the conversation, as Brian was saying, from making it about individual choices and putting the emphasis on the environment, the structure, for us to understand that I, as an individual, make a decision within a particular context. So if it is that I want to eat healthy, but there are no healthy options available where I live, I'm going to have to eat something. And so that's where the governmental responsibility comes in the sense of saying, well, do we have policies that create spaces where people can be active safely? Do we have policies like the school nutrition policy where we're creating an environment in the schools where the healthy choice is the easy and the accessible choice? And that's really where the law really brings a strong contribution in terms of very correctly helping people understand it's not just about you. Individuals have to take responsibility, yes, but actually the responsibility is that of government in terms of the obligations they've taken, which involve responsibility to respect, to promote, and to fulfill individuals' rights to health.
All right, so this conversation continues, of course, as we look toward the 20th anniversary of the voluntary guidelines as set out by the FAO. We have this World Food Day panel discussion, again, a conversation on the right to health and the right to adequate and nutritious food. It will be held at Moot Court, Faculty of Law, of course, UE KPhil, and it's coming up tomorrow, Wednesday, from 6 to 7:30. Do we need to register at all, Brian, to be a part of it? What's the process?
I think you just come to the faculty, and I mean, I think it will be streamed online as well too, but you just come to the faculty and you sit and enjoy a great discussion.
You definitely can listen in. You're going to be a part of the presentation, of course. Who else will join in this discussion?
So very much reflecting that this is a multi-sectoral conversation, is myself and the Faculty of Law, as I said, but then also to the Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Arthur Phillips. He will be there. We also have my colleague from UE, but from the economics side, the economics department, Dr. Antonia Aline. And then we also have Damien Hines from the ICA, which is the International Institute for Inter-American Institute for Cooperation in Agriculture, ICA. Damien Hines from ICA. And then, of course, our colleagues from FAO, so Maxime Luciene, will also be on the panel.
All right, so very esteemed panel, and I'm sure it will be rich discussion. Before you go, your final word, you know, as nutritional officer, I'm sure you engage and interact with people every single day. Your message for this World Food Day 2024.
I think for me, I think it's critical for Barbadians and persons from the wider region to understand that health is an investment, and the way we kind of live today in terms of our diet and our physical activity levels, it really dictates how we age, or how we live. So, so health is very important in that regard.
And finally, from you.
I just wanted to emphasize to persons that all of these policies that we see rolling out are not in isolation. They are complementary. They're part of a suite of interventions. Underpinning them are your rights as an individual to health, to food, and to other rights, education, etc. Rights are all interconnected and interdependent, and so it's important that you continue to engage in this space and continue to hold government accountable to make sure that you have the best opportunity possible to realize these rights.
All right, thank you both for sharing with us. World Food Day panel discussion, and of course it's in a hybrid type situation in that you can still tune in through the stream. So just reach out to be able to find out a little more information, but it's at Moot Court, Faculty of Law, UWKville, tomorrow from 6 to 7:30. So not too long, an hour and a half, and I'm sure that they will indulge a few of your questions after. Maybe
Absolutely.
I'm stepping outside of my purview and telling you that, but we always have questions to be answered. So make sure that you are a part of that. Until then, happy World Food Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take another break on Morning Barbados as we head up to 7 o'clock. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Time for an update of the news here on Morning Barbados. I'm Tisha Hines. One man is dead after an early morning shooting in the Pineland St. Michael community. Police in a statement say the man was shot while sitting on the step of his Newton Crescent Pine home. Police at the Operations Control Room received the report about 1:45. Police, on responding to the area, discovered the unresponsive body, later identified as Ricardo Rohan Gill, 38 years, with what appeared to be a gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene by a medical doctor. The Barbados Police Service is appealing to anyone who can provide information pertaining to this incident to contact Police Emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-477, or any police station. Those who flout the law with respect to disabled people and their parking spaces could face stiffer penalties up to $5,000. The National United Society of the Blind Barbados hosted a walk-about through the Warren's business community to highlight some of the challenges in an area that was not created for pedestrian traffic. Rachel Agard was there and she files this report.
By 2050, 70% of the world will be living in an environment where man-made or modified structures that provide people with living, working, and recreational space exist. This is according to a report by the World Blind Unit titled Closing the Accessibility Gap. And with tomorrow marked as White Cane Safety Day, Public Relations Officer of the National United Society of the Blind Barbados, Carrie-Ann Eiffel, says more needs to be done to include those with disabilities.
That is why we have to start now ensuring that as we go forward, our urban spaces are inclusive of all persons with a variety of disabilities and challenges. Yeah. As we try to move into our own homes, We need to be able to find accessible pedestrian areas, accessible bus stops, places that are safe for us to congregate. And that is why we're highlighting this and highlighting that we are independent people.
Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Kirk Humphrey, meanwhile, has a message for individuals who continue to park in spaces allocated for those with disabilities.
Accessibility for persons who are blind and otherwise disabled has to be improved. Therefore, we have to retrofit some buildings. We have to look at a number of the roads and in relation to how the roads are built. I know there's a policy change now that should soon be done in the regulations to move the fee from $500 to $5,000 as the punishment for parking in the spots for persons with disabilities. We have to enforce that, but a lot of the things that need changing don't require law. It just requires that people treat other people like human beings.
Disabilities advocate Edmund Hinkson is urging Barbadians to see members of the community as people with the same needs.
People with disabilities have the right, like everyone else, like all of us under the Constitution, and basic human right to be able to participate fully in the Barbadian society, and accessibility is clearly a key aspect of that. Accessibility to both man-made environment, buildings, as Minister Humphrey said, as well as the natural environment, because they're entitled to be able to fulfill their potential.
The group is hopeful Barbados will become a more inclusive society. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Certainly great to see. Meanwhile, Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey is encouraging Barbadians to get their health checks. And he's also urging the medical fraternity to be accommodating to all, including those with disabilities.
It is important for persons to get their health checks, particularly people who have diabetes or high blood pressure and so on. And then we also have to make sure that when they go to get the checks, that they're treated well and that they're received well at our health institutions in the public and the private sector. Many persons with disabilities would tell you that they don't feel that they're treated well when they actually go for these checks. That's one of the reasons that they sometimes don't go. But it's important that we make it an accommodating space when persons come for checks. But it's very important that they get checks, that we all get checks. Because it is clear to me, particularly in people of color, that we are prone to certain illnesses and that we need to prioritize our health.
Being stepped up to promote greater use of breadfruit to reduce wheat imports and help control non-communicable diseases. This was a major talking point at the Culture of Cuisine Talks held at Hunter Spring last evening as part of the Barbados Food and Rum Festival.
The renewed focus on breadfruit as an ultimate food source comes with food security top of the agenda for Barbados and other countries in the region. Dr. Sonia Peter, a natural herbalist, chemist, historian, and the executive director of the Biocultural Education and Research Program, is stressing the importance of the region being able to feed itself.
I have a real concern about food security in Barbados, and I think that it's important that we make persons aware of the versatility of our plant resource, and that's what we're doing here today with breadfruit.
She adds every aspect of the breadfruit is usable, including the bark. It has also become popular in the agro-processing sector. Bernice Chase has been developing new products from the fruit with Dr. Peters' help. She says she started using it in abundance because of an allergy to wheat.
Barbados imports $4.2 million US a year into the island in wheat. Now, if we start to eat what we have here, it's local. That's our breadfruit, our sweet potatoes, our cassavas, and those things. I believe that we will be a healthier nation. Okay, I believe that the NCDs will come down. And this breadfruit came about because this lady here pushed me. Right? And the breadfruit is so versatile. I'm not only doing pasta, there's also snacks that can come out from it. You can have biscuits. Well, I've done quite a number of breads and so on. There's a challah bread, which is a Jewish bread that I do with the breadfruit.
Local chefs like Adrian Cumberbatch are also making full use of it.
We go through about 400 to 500 breadfruits per week. We also do, for summer cooking camp, with the versatility of the breadfruits, we do and the kids made a roast breadfruit ice cream and roast breadfruit muffins. So that's the versatility for the kids with the breadfruit. So that's why we push a lot of breadfruit too as well, like people. But tonight I did a breadfruit gnocchi. That's the one that tastes like a dumpling. And then the roast breadfruit with the saltfish bojo and the stewed lentil peas for the vegetarians or the vegans.
Food and Rum continues with events until October 27th.
Thank you, Wendy. Interesting stuff. Rastafarians' right to use cannabis will be among the issues Barbados and other Caribbean countries will be advocating for on the global stage. That's according to Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority, Shanika Roberts-Odell. She was a guest yesterday on this Morning Barbados program, where she provided more details about the recent signing of an MOU with the Caribbean Cannabis Forum. St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are the other members.
Serious look and how we work together, because we talk about cannabis here in the Caribbean, but there are conversations in boardrooms in Geneva about how they're going to regulate cannabis and how they're going to ascribe cannabis. And I think particularly we need to take the fight to them, particularly for the Rastafari community. Now, there are lots of issues between long-standing historic issues, and the Rastafari community have earned grievances, absolutely. But we also need to come together and we need to be advocates for them, not just at home, but overseas, because their connection to the plant in a lot of ways that are beyond my scope is really important. And we're trying our best to see how we can work together as islands to protect that.
For Peacock Sports, the Windies men will take an unassailable lead in their T20 International Series with host Sri Lanka if they win this morning's second match. The Windies took Game 1 over the weekend by 5 wickets, and Vice-Captain Roston Chase believes with improvements in the batting department, the series score will be 2-2 today.
It was a good game, good start from the guys. I just think that we played a good game of cricket. We just, after the start that we had from King and Lewis, I just thought that we fell down a bit in the middle overs there. We lost a couple quick wickets, so if that's just one thing that we can concentrate on, not losing wickets in clusters, I think that we'll be even more clinical in winning.
Now, Chase revealed the overall plan is to actually win 3-0 as the regional sides aims to improve their position in the world by year end.
We love to get a 3-0 win in the series because we want to challenge for that #1 spot by the end of the year. So every point counts. So if we can get the 3-0 victory and finish the year strong in the other series to come, I think we'll be at that #1 spot when the year ends.
Now, the second T20 International begins at 9:30 Barbados time, so make sure you tune in for that. And that's our update of the news. We have a full package coming your way at 12 noon right here on CBC TV 8, or you can tune into our sister stations, Q100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM for the CBC News World at 1. That comes around at 1 p.m. Later on today. It's time for another break on Morning Barbados, but do come on back and stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed. Have you had your cup of tea yet? And by Bajan standards, that means cocoa, coffee, hot water with a little lemon. It's all tea. Well, Rick says all is rum. We say all is tea. Don't make that connection. Absolutely not. Maybe food and rum is still in my head after seeing all that talk about roasted breadfruit ice cream. Interesting. All right. It's time for us to talk about an initiative being put on by the Lions, in particular, the Lions of St. Michael. So let's welcome back Deirdre Wood, who is the current president. Always good to have you with us, Madam President.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back.
Absolutely. And joining us is Tyrone Lowe, who's president of the Diabetes and Hypertension Association of Barbados.
Thank you. Good morning, ma'am.
Welcome
Good to be
back.
here with you.
All right. The formalities. Welcome back, sir. And welcome back, ma'am. But we're here to talk about a very important thing, the Lions Club of St. Michael Primary School Diabetes Awareness Quiz. So I'll start with you, Madam President, to talk to us about why you felt it was necessary to engage children at the primary level on the matter of diabetes.
Well, I must first tell you that this is my signature project for the Lions year of 2024 to 2025. And the reason that we believe that we should target children was that when you bring awareness to the young ones, it makes a greater difference and impact. Because we want them to foster those healthy habits in the early. And then they could influence their peers. And also they could then take it home to their parents, because if they make those healthy choices, they may be inclined then to tell their parents, Mom, I don't want that. And then we are looking for the future. We are trying to raise a generation that will be free of, well, not basically free of NCDs, but not riddled with NCDs. So that was our main thing. One of the mandates of the Lions Club International is diabetes. And once we bring awareness to those children, that would be something that they would take the future. We're empowering them to make healthy choices, and by making informed choices, when you make that choice for yourself, sometimes it is better than somebody telling you, don't do this, don't do that. You are the person making that choice once you have that information.
That's right. So you're empowered with the information to make better choices.
Yes.
Mr. Lowe, your take on the importance of the quiz with younger children?
We are trying to find a way to really influence how people change their lifestyle, because you'll admit diabetes doesn't seem to be going anywhere at all. And the records are showing that it's getting more rampant. We believe if we influence the young minds at this stage, and as Deirdre is saying, if you want parents to change their behavior, let the child come home and start to make some noise about why they shouldn't do this and do that. So we're excited about this way of communicating to a younger demographic. In particular, you'll note that it is targeting children 8 and 9. Still formative years to some large extent, but we're hoping not to go too deeply into the schools to disrupt their own program. So we're limiting ourselves to ages 8 and 9, possibly 10, not quite common entrance, but at a point where it will be easy for these persons to concentrate on the exam, participate, get prizes. Everybody gets a certificate, so everybody wins. And then the awareness, the prevention, the potential to change lives of their own, of their peers. and their families. So we're looking forward to this with great excitement.
Now, before we talk more about the quiz, with NCDs being such a growing concern, I think every conversation I had so far this morning, for the last hour, it has included something about NCDs and how it's affecting Barbados. With that squarely in our sight, you must be doing some heavy lifting at the Diabetes and Hypertension Association. Let's talk for a little bit about your work and how you have shifted gears to accommodate what's happening across the island.
We continue to do 4 basic things since we started almost 50 years ago. Screening, that is something we do on a regular basis. We go into the heart and soul of Barbados. In fact, let me just pause to recognize a recent project by one of our main sponsors, Republic Bank, beyond Bridgetown, because sometimes we can limit ourselves to only the city areas, but we want to take the fight into remote areas, be it St. Lucie, St. Peter, St. Andrew, whatever, screening, so that everybody gets to understand what are your numbers, what's the potential for diabetes. Let's see your blood sugar levels, let's see your blood pressure levels. And then there's education. We need to educate persons about diabetes. What causes it? How can you avoid it? What are the symptoms? And then there is the advocacy. We join with others to help. If government brings up something that helps us to cut back on sugar, better nutrition, the way how you exercise and so on, advocate for better conditions and so on, so that people adjust their lives. And then support. The Diabetes Association in particular is a members association. We are not clinical where we go into deeply into what a person or the conditions are. But if you have a support base of persons of a like situation, then you are able to learn from what that person is doing, one, and then we have minimal medication. Now, let me advertise that we're not a large dispenser, but persons of a certain background could come to us. We give you some medication, we give you support, you have your blood pressure testing units and so on to help you to cope with what's going on. And it's been going fairly good. We've had some challenges since COVID. We've moved location, we're still adjusting. If you ever move location, 2 years after, you still find a box of things that you thought that you had open. So we're still doing that. We're still looking to support volunteers to help us. We are making an appeal to nurses. We need nurses badly because they do a lot of interaction. And they have stories of what happens in the hospital that help people to change lives and make the message more urgent and demanding. But we're trying. And I know I said a mouthful, but what we found recently that a lot of companies are calling us to support. So we think the message is getting across corporate Barbados, not just to test their own employees as they improve their own in-house campaigns, but to help us spread the word that diabetes is serious. Let's fight to control.
And we continue to spread the word through this quiz.
Yes.
So, Madam President, talk to us about the structure now of the quiz.
Yes, the quiz is stage 1 actually of a project that we are doing at the Lions Club of St. Michael. And we approached the Diabetes and Hypertension Association about partnering with this for this quiz. And in turn, they reached out then to the Diabetes and Hypertension Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And they have helped us immensely to formulate this quiz. So we try to get into the schools, and it's going to be 3 rounds. The preliminary round, which runs for 3 weeks. It opened last week. And you go on, you see the information, you do your studying, and then you do this quiz online. It's going to be corrected online and everything. And from that number, we're going to choose 40 persons then to do a semifinals. The semifinals will be in person. You will come and you stagger through the day. You will come and you will do the quiz. And then from there, we go down to 10 persons for the final. There are great initiatives because the school that enters the most children gets $3,000.
Wow.
Yes, so that is one to tell the schools to come out, you know.
Yeah.
Schools need money. We're giving out some money for those who enter the most children. And then the person who wins then, they get a challenge trophy for their school and $2,000 is it?
$2,000.
$2,000. Yes. Then each person gets a certificate of participation, and then there's a second and a third prize. You take a tablet, just a bigger tablet.
Laptop and 2 tablets.
Yes, a laptop and 2 tablets. So this initiative basically is to, and I mean children, even if your school doesn't enter you, and a parent sees our flyer, you could enter your child independently. Because the resources are online, it is done online, and it would encourage persons, to say, you know what, let me see if I get more than you. Friends could do it. Friends could be in competition. Let me see who get the most. 30 questions. Easy peasy, as little children will say. Let me get it done.
It's always easy peasy when you can see the answers. So let's talk about the topics or the areas that you're going to work to cover under the quiz.
Yes. The topics, knowing the things that you do to prevent diabetes, knowing the symptoms, knowing your blood sugar. Well, the theme for that they're using now is know your numbers. So a lot of persons don't know what a normal blood sugar is supposed to be. Some persons who had diabetes for years. So once you know those things, know the foods to eat, know that physical activity plays a very big role in your lifestyle because it's a lifestyle disease. So the lifestyle changes basically would be the things that are in the quiz. And I think that right now in 2024, class 2s and class 3s are going to ace that. They are definitely going to ace it. Because these children now know things that we never even thought of knowing.
Is it open to children across the board, or do you have age ranges?
Age ranges, as he said, 8 and 9-year-olds. Class children are in class 2 and 3. So it's basically focused to that demographic.
Because you're also trying to avoid putting too much pressure on the school system. Now, common entrance exam is 10 or so. You're focusing on that, and those persons are intense. They do their lessons and so on. We don't want to disrupt the normal school activity. Hence the 8 to 9, and we're hoping that parents take a large part in this, so that teachers may very well take some interest, because there is a prize, like I said, for the school. I mean, as Deirdre said, a school can get 5,000. You can give the most participants, and then if one of your participants win, a school can get 5,000. I think who wouldn't want 5,000 to help you with your program? So it is good that we can get schools to get involved, but we deliberately limit the age to avoid putting too much pressure on teachers or common entrance exam persons.
All right, let's talk timelines.
Timelines. The quiz opened last week. It runs 3 weeks from last week, which will bring us down to the first week in November. And then you would get, for those who are heading to the semifinals, they would get the information there to study in 2 weeks. We are culminating in the first week in December.
We want to have the finals perhaps around just past World Diabetes Day.
Yes.
We were hoping that we could have had the timeline in time, but what will happen, as Deirdre says, the quiz opened officially last week. That's the online version, where you go on our website, dhabarbados.org, dhabarbados.org, and scroll to the far right. You'll see the primary school quiz. You register, and then once you register, the quiz opens up, and then you do it. 30 questions, as was said, 40 minutes time limit, and you only have one chance. So, but you got about 2-3 weeks to do that. You don't have to rush into it the minute you open it in. take your time, do it good, and then if you're fortunate to be part of the top 40 or so, then you're invited to the semi-finals, which is a written one now. We call you, I think, on a particular Saturday. We meet at one location and we do a written exam. Those who pass, we choose the 10 out of that then for the grand final, which we hope is a nice, bouncy affair. That, again, all about awareness and not making diabetes look as though it is that kind of dull subject. Let's understand diabetes, that the children get involved, and let the country be aware of the need to stop it. Yeah.
I like that you haven't limited how many students from, I suppose, each school is able to enter. As a matter of fact, it's a plus.
Yes.
If schools get more students. And as you mentioned, we know that schools usually need funds to be able to do all manner of things.
Our PDAs.
make things better.
That's
So
right.
congratulations on this. You still have another 2 weeks or so to get in on the quiz.
Yes.
It, of course, is in partnership with the Lions Club of St. Michael and the Diabetes and Hypertension Association of Barbados. They want to make sure that we are educating our children about the dangers of diabetes and, in keeping with your theme, knowing your numbers,
Yes.
which of course is very important. So thanks for all of the efforts. Sounds easy enough. DHABarbados.org.
That's right.
To go online and register. So go and register now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking of quite a few 8 to 9 year olds that I can encourage to to jump on.
Excellent.
And as, again, as you were saying, we've got 11 schools right now. It is sad that we didn't have more, but we understand this is the beginning term, lots happening in these schools and what's not. But it is a beginning. And just like Trinidad started slowly and now it's expanding, we expect that this to grow.
Definitely.
If your school have not registered, you, if you're between 8 and 9, maybe through your parents' guidance, could still register and be able to win a prize. Who knows?
That's good that you can go through. At the top, you mentioned that this is one of your major initiatives. So speak a little bit more about that, because I know for the Lions, you do so many different activities around the communities.
Yes, this year I am focusing on empowerment and growth. And I said once we sensitize those children and we give them that information and they can make an informed decision for a better future for themselves, that is what I'm aiming for, definitely.
I think it's important for us to focus more heavily on service in Barbados as well. Talk to us quickly about your journey with the Lions.
This is my 3rd year with the Lions and I jumped in full force. I think that it is time for us to give back. There are persons out there who need help. And I mean, sometimes you don't have $1 million, but you have an hour that you can do something to assist some person. And that's what we need to do. The service organizations in Barbados, especially Lions Club, is dwindling because it's an aging club. And we need more young persons to come out there and, just give of your time and your effort and just show people that you care. And that's what we need to do. We need to bring Barbados back into the thing that you can be your brother's keeper. You can help your neighbor. You can help someone who has fallen at the side of the road without thinking that you have to receive something because you did it.
A final word from you, Mr. Lowe, on the work that the Diabetes and Hypertension Association of Barbados continues to do as we look toward the observance of World Food Day. What would be your message from that association?
We are happy to reflect and be part of the message of World Food Day. Nutrition. Found it so funny just now as we were talking about different beverages and what's not. But it's about lifestyle changes. How much can you drink? What do you drink? What do you eat? It is observed in Barbados, for example, that not a lot of people eat fruit and vegetables. It is easier to have a lot of starch. Your plate could be overweight with lots of protein, lots of starch, but no vegetables and so on. And this is part of what we are trying to fight against. That a balanced plate where it has the three components, vegetables, where it has the protein, and where it has the starch. And contrary to what people thought before, Keisha, the starch and the protein are small amounts, not a whole plate of a fish steak or a pork chop. It is vegetables you need on that. So we echo the message. We will let Barbados to concentrate on more fruits and vegetables, eat a more balanced plate, and head towards a more healthier lifestyle.
All right, now my question was twofold. I was trying to help you get some of that information as well for the quiz. So there you have it. Lots of information that you can work with as well. Congrats to your work at the Lions Club. St. Michael.
Yes.
For the work that you continue to do. And we most certainly look forward to sharing the messages of the Diabetes and Hypertension Association of Barbados as we continue to share more about what we need to do to get a handle on our health.
Thank you so much, Tisha. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So make sure you get on board. And if you have little ones in the household, nieces, nephews, neighbors, students, whether you're teaching them at Sunday school or little ones that you see at the bus stop, encourage them to enter so that they learn a little bit more. Is at the intersect of health and education, and that's always very, very important and very positive. So again, I had two presidents in here this morning, and no surnames of, president from down the street here, president of the Lions of St. Michael, I'm not even funny today, and president of the Diabetes and Hypertension Association of Barbados. So thank you both for sharing with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for interviewing us as well.
All right, and they laughed at my jokes, so that matters. The people in here, a whole other story. All right, time for another break, but stay with us. We're heading quickly toward the 8 o'clock hour.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Now, 20 minutes to go before 8 o'clock. Certainly hope that you are making good time this morning. Speaking of time, it's been going by quickly with the Richard Stout over 21 competition. We just heard it was starting, and now we're at the stage where we have the semi-finalists who've been announced. So let's take a peek at how the competition has been going.
Never say never, willingness forever, just fight and be strong. One thing for better, I write every letter in moving right along. In our world with the punches, accept changes, work with the formula, do what I have to do. You can call me by my name, I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same, how the stories get told. Call me anytime, never come out. Lioness is on the rise, don't you ever have doubt. When you're willing to serve, we have good to observe, to see if you can walk the walk you talk. Let me give you my word, my voice must be heard. Bravery is a beast of my heart. I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same, how the stories get told. Call me anytime. Don't leave me in all this pain. Don't leave me all in the rain. Remember those nights when I felt you beside me. know the dream don't turn so long, and there is no easy way for you just to run away. What we have was so much more than we ever had before, and no matter how I try, for you're always on my mind. So here I am, and can you please tell me, oh, where's the broken heart go? Can they find their way home? Back to the old arms of love is waiting there. And if somebody loves you, won't they always love you? I look in your eyes, and I know that you still care for me. Now that I'm here with you, this is why it's real. So there's a rose that blooms in May. It keeps a picture in a frame, and when he sleeps, it calls her name. I wonder if he makes her smile the way I used to smile at him. I hope she doesn't make him laugh, because the laugh belongs to me. How can an angel break my heart? Why did he catch my falling star? I wish I didn't wish so hard. Maybe I wish we'll never part. How can an angel break my heart? Was the last time you thought of me? Or have you completely erased me from your memory? I have to think about where I went wrong. The more I do, the less I know. But I know I have a fickle heart and a bitterness and a wandering eye and a heaviness in my head. But don't you remember? Don't you remember the reason you loved me before? Baby, please remember me once more.
All incredible presentations. So the over 21 semi-finalists moving forward in alphabetical order: Alicia Aline, Amira Cordes, Crystal Hope, Jacqueline Stout, Jaleesa Graves, Jaleesa Mayers, Joshua Moore, Kenya Joseph, Kimberly Allen, Laverne Smith, Lisa Hackett, Nicole Seeley, Shaquan Smith, Shanika George, and Zoe Armstrong. Make sure you go on out and support them as they move forward to this next level of the competition, and we most certainly will continue sharing. It's time for a break here on Morning Barbados. When we come back, we wrap today's presentation. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So we're encouraging you to go on out and support the second CTTF Table Tennis Championship. It's $30,000 US dollars is up for grabs. That's what's on the line. The event will take place from today, October 15th, and runs through to the 20th over at the Garfield Sobers Gymnasium. So you definitely want to go over there and share. It will be live on the National Sports Council's YouTube page as well, and it's free for spectators. So if you're interested in any way in table tennis, or you just want some great entertainment, you love enjoying sport, you should go on out and support that. It starts at 10 o'clock this morning. So go on out and be a part of that. Again, it's the second CTTF Table Tennis Championships with 30,000 US dollars on the line. Sounds pretty exciting. Now, coming up on tomorrow's show is World Food Day. So we are going to be talking all about what will be happening through the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. We have the FAO rep in Barbados. He'll be here along with the Chief Agricultural Officer. They're going to be here to talk about the FAO and the work that they're doing, not only here, but in the region and across the world. Plus, we have a discussion on food security in the Caribbean with Sarah Bailey, Head of Program with the World Food Program, Caribbean Multi-Country Office that's stationed here in Barbados. Now, the High Commissioner of Canada to Barbados presented her credentials to our president recently. She's going to present her credentials to us and the rest of Barbados tomorrow. So Her Excellency Brenda Wills will be here to have a chat with us about what she'll be expecting to do in this new role. Plus, we have the St. Leonard's Old Scholars Association coming in to talk about a few activities that they have coming up for a major observance. And following a highly successful conference last week on human technology, we have the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados in tomorrow to engage on discussion post that very important conference. That and a whole lot more is coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados. So have a great day today, and we encourage you to come on back and join us tomorrow. Before I go, I want to say a very special good morning and happy belated birthday to my niece, Mackenzie, who is watching in Arkansas. Good morning to my mother-in-law as well, Sandra. Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.